need to do to stop him. They know they need to force Obamacare on us. We know what we need to do to repeal it.
Sending bill after bill to the president to repeal Obamacare until he, quote, wearies of it. Seeing as how that's probably one of the president's likely to veto, what other powers of the purse tools can you use to reform or reduce or slow down the Affordable Care Act?
Well, there's no secret that every one of my members thinks that Obamacare was a huge legislative mistake. It has fouled up the health insurance market, put states in a deep hole in terms of the Medicaid expansion and their own ability to finance it a few years from now. If I had the ability, Carl, obviously I'd get rid of it. Obviously, it's also true, he's still there. So we'll be discussing how to go forward on this issue when we get back. I will say this for sure. There are pieces of it that are deeply, deeply unpopular with the American people. The medical device tax, which has exported an enormous number of jobs. The loss of the 40-hour work week, big mistake. That ought to be restored. The individual mandate, people hate it. So I think we will be addressing that issue in a variety of different ways. That we will use the power of the purse to try to push back against this overactive bureaucracy. And of course, we have a huge example of that here in this state with the war on coal, not authorized by Congress. Cap and trade couldn't get the votes to pass when our friends on the other side owned the place. When they had huge majorities in the House and the Senate, they couldn't pass cap and trade. The president's trying to do it anyway. I think there's widespread opposition to that, and you could look for us to go after those kind of things through the spending process, which I think is our best tool in our governmental system.
Process too.
Well, we'll see how we do. Paul Kane.
In the debt ceiling fight afterward, you told me that it was a hostage not worth shooting, but it was a hostage worth holding for some ransom. The debt ceiling is coming up sometime in the spring, this summer. Are we going to have another brinksmanship moment there, or are those sorts of crises going to end?
Well, let me make it clear there will be no government shutdowns and no default on the national debt.
Or you insist on cuts as part of a debt ceiling increase?
One of the issues I don't believe you've mentioned is immigration, in terms of what you might work with the president on. We expect that he will move forward with some sort of action on executive action in this area. What would the Republican response be, and would you seek to move a Republican immigration plan?
Well, let me say, I think the president choosing to do a lot of things unilaterally on immigration would be a big mistake. It's an issue that most of my members want to address legislatively, and it's like waving a red flag in front of a bull to say, if you guys don't do what I want, I'm going to do it on my own. And the president's done that on Obamacare. He's done it on immigration and threatening to do it again. I hope he won't do that, because I do think it poisons the well for the opportunity to address a very important domestic issue.
Cruz declined to say whether or not he would support you for majority leader. I'm wondering, when you spoke to him, did he pledge his support to you? And if not, are you?
Well, let me just make a prediction for you. A week from tomorrow, I'll be elected majority leader of the Senate. Thanks a lot, everyone.